Hi everyone. So today I wanted to talk about my book a little bit, From Turmoil to Triumph, and why I wrote it and how this book came to be and what it's about. So I have a friend of mine, his name is Scotty Roberts, and he lives over in Wisconsin. We've been friends for about 20 years. He's a professional artist and writer. You can find his books all over the internet for sale. And he always seemed to think I had a story to tell and wanted me to do a book with him. And we did a book, and it didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to turn out. Not that it was any fault of his, or it just wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, so I redid it. And that's where this book came in. And why he thought I had a story was, I grew up, my mom was on welfare. I grew up eating bricks of cheese and powdered milk and all the things that you grow up on when you don't have any money. And we were moving constantly, and I didn't have a dad in my life. I had a grandpa who was great, but I didn't have an actual dad in my life for a long time. And that led me down to a path that probably wasn't good for me. I started drinking at a young age. I started to dabble in things that were illegal. And that went on for a long time. And I would say that I would consider myself back then a con man. And not proud of it. I don't say that in any braggart kind of way. I absolutely hate who I was, but I also understand how I got there. And this book kind of tells that story of all the struggles and the things that I went through. And to find out a lot of those struggles had to do with my anxiety. I would call it debilitating anxiety, and I was self-medicating myself back then with alcohol. Fortunately, I didn't go down the path of drugs. I can't say I didn't smoke a little pot every now and then, but it was mostly alcohol. And I took that to about as extreme as a guy can take it. And, but anxiety kind of ran my life back then, and I didn't know what anxiety was back then. So I didn't know why I was drinking. I just knew that it made me feel better. And I also knew when I drank, I thought I was somebody I wasn't, and I ended up doing a lot of things that I'm not proud of when I was drinking. Alcohol came with a lot of bad decisions. So anyway, during all that, I finally came to a point in my life in my early to mid 20s where I thought, I've got to figure something out. I can't go on my whole life like this. I'm either going to end up prison or possibly dead. And I started to slowly come out of all that and started changing and starting to live a life that was different than what I grew up doing. And anyway, so around my mid-20s, I finally started being a mechanic full-time. I was always into cars, but I hadn't taken it real serious for a career, even though I worked at a few shops here and there and bounced around. When I was about 25, I finally decided to take that and get serious with it and make it my profession. And I did that, but I still drank a lot and still probably wasn't making all the right decisions, but definitely had come a long way by that point as well. And, my mind always, being that I was always quick with my words and able to talk people into things and use some of the superpowers I had for good and bad, I decided to use them just for good. And I thought, I think I can run a company. And I started dabbling and starting companies a little bit. And some took off a little bit and some didn't. But one in particular was called Lemon Squad. And I started Lemon Squad, and that turned into a great big national company. But there's a lot of meat and potatoes between, that didn't come till I was in my 30s. So a lot of meat and potatoes before then, but I basically took myself out of this place that should have landed me in prison, and then all of a sudden I started this multi-million-dollar national inspection company. It's still in business, lemonsquad.com. I sold it almost 4 years ago, and I stayed on as a consultant up until a few months ago, and now I'm 100%, I've stepped away from Lemon Squad. But anyway, this book is all about that stuff, and, a lot of heartache, a lot of, relationships that were good and bad, and mostly bad, and mostly because of me. But just a whole lot of stuff in there. It's quite the story. I'm surprised I'm here to even talk about it, to be completely honest. So guys, if you want to check it out, AntoneDabs.com is where it's at. You can go ahead and purchase a book there if you'd like to read it. I also have it on Audible, and so you can listen to it as well. It's not me, but it is on there. If you'd rather listen to it, if you're a person that likes to listen to books on Audible, which a lot of us are. And then it's also on Kindle as well, so you can get an ebook version on Kindle. But this is it. If you buy it from the website, I ship it with I sign it. And if you want something special written on there, let me know, and I'll do that for you. But this was a really hard book to write. It made me really look at myself. It made me look at the things that I've done, both good and bad, and I had to come to terms with some of those things that I've done. At least try to come to terms. There's some things that I'm just so disgusted with myself about. I don't know that I'll ever become, good with that. But the book was definitely good for my mind, all in all, to write, because it made me realize that even in all the bad that I was doing when I was younger, there was a good person there. And I didn't know that up until recently. I had forgot how it felt to be that person back then, and I needed to revisit it to realize that there was a good person there that was just really, really struggling and really hurting. And then the book ends with me being diagnosed with autism. So right now it's the end of, it's April 1st. I was going to say it's the end of March, but today is April 1st, and it was right around the end of December, beginning of January, that I was diagnosed officially with autism. So the book ends with that, and it ends with me living in Duluth, Minnesota. I've been married a little over 20 years, 22, 23 years. Yikes, I gotta do the math on that. But in a really good place, got a great life going. Going to get back in the inspection business next year when my non-compete is over with Lemon Squad. I feel young, I feel good, I feel energized after stepping away from Lemon Squad as an owner 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. And I feel re-energized and ready to go to do this sort of thing again. So I got one more big business in my life, I think. Maybe two. I have another idea that I'd maybe do as well, but I have one more for sure that I'm going to do, and I want to be the biggest inspection company in the industry for the second time. And anyway, that's it. That's the book, From Turmoil to Triumph. It's my book. I hope you guys buy it. I hope you enjoy it. If you have questions about it, please ask. I'll go over it. But thanks, guys. Everybody have a great day. Take care. Hey, I just want to give a heartfelt thank you to everybody that's been watching my videos. We're at like 160,000 subscribers right now, and that's only after a few months. So we've grown this really fast together, and I appreciate all you guys. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video that you just saw, please hit the like button. Also, if you guys at all were interested in learning more about me, here's a book I wrote. It's called From Turmoil to Triumph, and you can find that on my website, AntoneDabs.com. And it just tells about how I grew up in poverty and was on the wrong side of the law for a long time, and how I got things together and got married and had a child and decided to start a large national company, and that's what's led me to this point in my life. So a lot of meat and potatoes in there, and I'd love for you guys to be able to read that. Again, you can see that book at AntoneDabs.com. But again, guys, thank you so much for visiting my channel. Have a great day. Take care.